Hi, Alison. Can you hear me? Oh, great stuff. Okay. So Alison, I'm trying to find where I can share slides. Um, is there an option for it here?
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jay. I can hear you. Toby, do you want to test your mic?
Hi.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
This is UK. This is UK sound.
Yeah.
See how clear it is.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me too?
There's a little screen icon on the video. Yes, can you? We can hear you.
Cool.
Okay, video. Click that, and it will bring up the share options. Okay. Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Alison. I found it. So Toby, since you'll be sharing slides for us, if you see there's a screen option, it's close to the YouTube logo. If you click on that option, it would show. It will give you sharing options, just like Zoom, pretty much. Have you seen it now? You're muted.
Yeah, I've seen it. I have to enable it on my Mac.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let me allow Chrome.
Okay.
Okay, so it means that Chrome says I have to quit Chrome and rejoin. So that would.
Okay, but if it's a problem, since I'm using Chrome already, let me just try to
Okay,
share from my
try to share.
end. Yeah, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see your screen.
You can, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward then. So Terry is the only one that's not here yet, right? Let me just check up. Let me check with her.
I'm not sure if Toby's still here. But...
Yeah, Toby said he wanted to reload his screen. So okay. Thank you so much, Addison. Really helpful.
Hope you can hear me. Mic check. Okay. Yeah, it's time.
Okay, guys. So, Comfy, I think we can start general introductions. We have 9 people already, so any other
Okay.
include Terry will join eventually.
Okay. That's
All
fine.
right, all right, all right. Thank you, Alison. We will share link to our slide shortly.
Yeah, so good afternoon, good morning, everyone, depending on your time zone. My name is Comfort Onyaga. I'm a policy shaper, and I'm excited to introduce my team. We're a team of five, six. Yeah, so we have Ebenezer as the team lead. We have Kende, Chimdi, Oluwatobi Oseni, and Terry, who will be joining us shortly. Sorry about the delay. I would like to welcome you once again to the CC Global Summit. We are all excited to share in the joy and the euphoria of the 20th anniversary. So today we'll be making a presentation on how open data can drive transparency and transformation in virtual universities. I'm sure you would all be thrilled at the outcome of and the urgency statement too of our policy memo. This exercise was carried out. I mean, the policy shapers actually, as a team, we came together to put this together, and the information here will be useful to you in one way or the other. We can't actually wait to share each session. So, next slide, please. So as an outline, we have Kende who will be speaking on, who will be introducing the policy shapers to us. We also have Chimdi. Chimdi will be speaking on how COVID-19 and the about COVID-19 and the virtual learning movements. We are aware that we are in the new world order. So Chindi will be speaking to that. Ebenezer Wikina, who is the team lead, will be speaking on the state of open data in virtual university, why, and as well as the policy recommendation. I will be speaking on the impact logic, why Terry will be speaking on the urgency statement. Then Oseni Oluwatobi will be moderating the question, comment, and then the closing remark. You sit back and enjoy the section. If you have a bottle of soda, you can, have a sip while you enjoy the session. I have mine. I'm sure we'll be doing that. So over to you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comfort, for that fantastic introduction. My name is Kenny Adibi, but I'm called Kenny, and I'm a team member of Policy Shaper. I would say one of the best things that happened to me in 2020, despite the is recommendations about the future we work and to make things better. Sorry, I guess I lost everyone. I don't know. I guess it's from my network, but sorry for that. I hope I'm back now.
Yeah, you're back. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you
Okay,
now.
great. Yeah, great. So, like, I just said that, like, I think one of the best things that happened to me last year was joining Policy Shapers because, despite the challenges of the time then and still happening, I was able to make recommendations to solve problems. And I'm currently a PhD scholar at Indiana University. But I'll take you through about what is Policy Shapers and what have we done for the last 12 months. I'm really amazed to see how far we've come, and I also believe you would be soon. Next slide, please. Okay, great. So about Policy Shaper. So what have we done thus far? We launched last year, August 2020. So we are a little over a year now, and it was a very interesting fight when Ebenezer, who is the team lead, asked, "Oh, team, I think we can do this, having worked on various projects together." And let me say that everybody on this group, which would particularly have been leading community development for a minimum years or 5 years, and which shows that there is a substantial level of experience to come together, lead the volunteers to make policies for developing and develop words. So when we started, we have approximately about 250 policy enthusiasts, youth-led persons that are very excited to join the force and also ready to work intellectually to provide solutions to some of our major challenges. We've published about 15 policy ideas, some of which are under implementation strategies, and even some at the global level, as I'm going to show you. But I think one fascinating thing about ours is that it's an open source data form that is collaborative and transparent. And we are very big on meritocracy. We don't just sit down and say that these are the way things should be done. We look at data, both primary and secondary data, to do our analysis and make necessary policy recommendations and urgency statements. Our tools include policy memos, briefs, papers, etc. And very soon we are launching a real-time webinar session where we aggregate idea in a real-time model and ensure that we develop policies from persons all around the world. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just to like give you some like what we've done for the last 12 months, I've mentioned some of them already. So we launched websites. You can visit that www.policyshapers.com. I think Ebenezer may put that on the chat now. And we've done a lot of work. You will see some policy memos there for you to read, opportunity to sign up. We are very open to partnership from different parts of the world because we are big on the SDGs and recognize the impact of SDG 17, which is partnerships for the goal. So you can reach out to us. You see a contact there, and we are very open to work with you. We've participated in a lot of hackathons, but two at the global stage. The first is COVID-19 Policy Hackathon, where we make subtle recommendations to the federal government here in Nigeria on how to manage COVID-19 pandemic, and it was also well recognized during this hackathon. We participated in the Stanford Open Data project. I wouldn't speak more to this because some of our work will be eventually discussed here. And we emerged top three policy proposals on recommending how we can drive transparency and transformation in blockchain universities. We've developed policy framework across all measures, across virtual learning, COVID-19 technology, all of them centered on community development, and it has been youth-led. But I think one amazing thing that our theme has is also credibility of the team members. Individuals here have served as the British Council Youth Board, led SDGs development. We have Mandela Washington Fellows, and everyone also are also scholars, highly intelligent individuals that have worked globally. We have Ebenezer that have over 6 degrees from 6 different universities, if I'm right, and it's very, very good to work with him. And Comfort is a market specialist that work more with community persons. Shimdi is not only a national security fellow, but also a master student, and we have a shifting scholar. So we are coming from a wide range of experiences from sciences, arts, technology, and I think that we've been able to do some very interesting work with this one. So I'll hand over to Shimdi next to continue this conversation.
Thank you, Kende. Thank you, everyone who is joining us. So, my name is Chimdi Chukwukere. I'm currently a master's student at Seton Hall University in New Jersey, US, and also I'm a national security fellow at the university. Last year, as Kane said, we came up through the idea of EBEN, or the idea for policy shapers, and since last year up till now, there have been immense growth in each and every one of us career. Even earlier this year, I was privileged to work as the national security fellow in my university, where we made recommendations to uh, the U.S. National Security Council and the Department of Defense. So, on the topic that we are dealing on today, I will just be speaking about how COVID-19 pandemic affected learning. And please, next slide. So, speaking on impact of COVID on education, we found out that, and this was part of the things that we worked on last year, that the that COVID caused a lot of learning losses in different parts of the world. Even in the developed countries like here in the United States, not everyone had access uh, to computers, to laptops, to continue virtual learning, and so that disparity in the developing world and most countries in Africa, we saw cases of students being out of school for 9 months, for 12 months, you know, um, and these were all issues. This also led to increased inequality. By the time that some people, let's say here in the US, were able to uh, move on to virtual learning and continue their education, and their classmates or counterparts in Nigeria or in Kenya or in Ghana did not go to school at that same period. You see, there is already an increasing inequality as a result of the pandemic. And well, one of the uh, I'll call it good, not really good. We won't say a good thing that came out from the pandemic, but I mean one of the lessons or one of the adjustments that everyone were able to make was the pivot to online learning. Uh, Before now, many of us have taken maybe MOOCs online, with Udemy and Coursera and some of those courses, but the pandemic made it paramount that almost everyone must learn online. Though no matter how unpleasant it is, personally I know how unpleasant it was having to read and log in online every day. So, but this is the reality, and that's why we are having this conversation today. That how can we, since we are seeing a trend that in the future students and professionals are more likely to embrace virtual learning. How can open data drive more transparency? How can open data drive more enrollment into these virtual universities, into these virtual platforms for learning? And so that is what my colleague and the father of policy shapers will be speaking on next, about how uh, uh, how open data can drive of this. And as we said, we work with data, and just a little survey that we had of more than 7,400 prospective and intellectual current intellectual students who studied, the 85% of them studied online because of COVID. So we see that people had to study online, people had to do online this. So but our idea is that uh, if there is more data, if there is more information about uh, how what goes on in schools, how many people are enrolled in institutions, or how many people are graduating from virtual universities, or those real-time data, we believe that this can encourage more people to embrace virtual learning. And that's what my colleague Iben will be speaking on next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, MD, and thanks a lot to the members of the team. Amazing, amazing work. It's a huge privilege to lead these kind of smart people. They give me so much hope, and they give me so much believe that Nigeria can be a great place, because we're all Nigerians, even though we're all over the world at the moment. We're all Nigerians, and we're doing great in our various places. So yeah, so I lead this team. I'm an alumnus of the Harvard Kennedy School Executive Education Program. I'm a Mandela Washington Fellow as well, an initiative of the U.S. Department of State. And I'll be speaking to you quickly on what our findings were as it relates to this research, and what our policy recommendations are as well, in addition to some key ethical issues we think virtual universities should consider. So next slide, Toby. All right. So in carrying out this research, I mean, first of all, the beginning of the research began at the Stanford Open Datathon, which Kenny spoke to earlier. At the Datathon, which I mean, we emerged third because this field of research it was largely untapped. There were hardly any secondary data out there. All of what is online right now was created by our research, which took place in April 2021. Amazing research. We mined information from the National Center for Education Statistics based in the US, which currently is the biggest platform for education institutions, based on how much their tuition costs, how many students they have, what part of the world are they located, what courses or what career fields their graduates go to. So it's a very extensive platform. It interests you to know that only 1 in 5 virtual universities have their data on this NCES platform. And that was the University of People, which Comfort would speak to shortly. There's currently no transparent data system to optimize virtual learning. What this means is that we don't really know much about virtual learning. It's been here for quite a while. As Chimdi said, people must have taken MOOCs on Coursera or EDX or Udemy and co. But we don't really know what the course completion rate is like. Who are the people taking these courses? Where are most of these people? Are they professionals, or are they secondary or high school leavers? What courses do they care more about? People who do online degrees, do they eventually go to get jobs? Is it even real? People respect this virtual university certificate. So there's so many questions, right? And all of these questions, I think, leave a huge potential for the future of learning. And as Chimdi has shown in the previous slide, there's even if we don't want it, it's eventually happening. There's no denial that virtual learning is coming here to stay. It's not going to go after COVID. Even though people are saying there will be no after COVID, there's a new world now. And so we discovered as well during our findings that there are currently over 27,000, almost 28,000 degrees online in various institutions. Quite a number of institutions in America had made their programs virtual. Some that had fully functional physical programs are now hybrid. So there's a virtual component and then there's a physical component as well. Another interesting statistic that we found is that about 7 million students enrolled in at least one distance learning course as of 2018, and that was the fall of 2018, compared to 3 million in 2012. That's a huge, 5 million extra. And I'm sure if that statistic is done for this year, you'll see another 7 million extra students that are learning. So next slide. So all of this tells us a lot about what is going on. So there are quite a number of ethical issues that we knew will be considered while as we're encouraging virtual universities to open up key data sets. We know that there are quite a number of ethical issues. One of them, of course, is the data privacy laws. We remember Cambridge Analytica and the Facebook story, and how that story pretty much opened up a new era of data privacy laws, especially online. The map at the left from Telemessage shows you an overview of all of the data privacy laws in the world. You can see them scattered all over the place. And knowing that virtual universities cover the globe, the internet is not geographically bound, so it covers everywhere. So knowing that the courses will go and the universities will have students from all over the world, it's important that they understand. We think one of the ways they can do well with all of these laws is proper management of learners' consent. So quite a number of times in giving data online, there's a long terms of reference, and then there's the click here to say yes or click here to say no. We think that virtual universities can do a lot to break down all of this privacy information for easy understanding, and they can make sure that learners are always giving consent for every key data set that they plan to share. The Student Affairs divisions in various universities. There's also IT department. I know Harvard has this extensive IT unit that provides support to all of their schools. So we believe that these virtual universities can leverage all of these different units to share their information. Next slide, and I think that's the last slide. Okay, so just quickly to the policy recommendations before Confit speaks a lot about the impacts. So the first recommendation is that we think enrollment statistics need to be visualized better, right? If you go to a regular online course now, you would see 25,000 people enrolled for this course, right? 22,000 people enrolled for this course. And you don't know who they are, where they're from, what they do, etc. I mean, in our extensive find on our Policy Shapers website, we explain how there was a program, a Harvard program, where there was a map that showed where each student was from. It was virtual, it was fully virtual for the 4 months as part of that program. And but it showed us where each person was, what they do, their careers, etc. And so even as you're enrolling, you're able to start connecting. There were like natural connections happening already. Because I could find, oh, there's this guy from Ghana, oh, there's someone from the US, or there's someone from the UK. And I was able to connect with people through this interactive map without having to even meet them physically, right? So we believe that practice of just saying 10,000 people enrolled, 2,000 people enrolled, it's not good enough. It's a key data set that can be expanded on and made interactive for students to play around with. The second recommendation is that we believe that publishing and publication of graduation or course completion rates is very key. This one, I mean, there's really no authentic information about how many people pass from online courses. There's so many dropouts, there's high dropout rates, there's speculations about how many people pass, there's speculations about how many people actually pass, finish degrees, and actually go on to get jobs and stuff like that. So there's a huge potential for opening up this data set, because it makes people demystify the fact that it's not possible to complete an online program. I mean, I'm doing several online programs since COVID began. I've done executive programs, I've done professional programs from various universities online. most times simultaneously, and I'm finishing them, right? But the larger belief is that it's very difficult. It's not possible to finish all of these programs. And I think opening up these data sets and making some infographics about who, and maybe not the exact person who passes, because I'm not sure I want my data out there about the fact that I failed some online course, but maybe saying that out of 7, 3 people passed, or 4 people passed, or even having this information on the NCES, because this will also help learners know how to design their programs, to make students understand better. And then quickly, I know I'm moving too slow because of our time. The third point is student feedback needs to be signposted. So just the same way you have Uber and Airbnb and all of those apps, most of the time when you want to choose a ride or choose a restaurant or something or a hotel, you go to the reviews, right? You want to see what people have said about this. You want to see what people who have done it before are saying about the product or service. And we think for virtual learning, this can definitely be put on. What we see currently is that you have a lot of testimonials. Schools will share testimonials, but testimonials are very curated. I can choose only the good testimonials and share the good ones. But if the feedback is open, you can see the negative, the positive, and it gives room for anybody to share their thoughts, which again helps with the virtual universities to come up with solutions to those problems. We said transparent ratings and recommendations from learners need to be signposted to aid optimization of learning models. So that's a quick view at our policy recommendations, top 3 recommendations. The full information, like I said, will be found on policyshapers.com, so feel free to check it out. So I'll hand over to Comfort now as she speaks quickly about the impact logic.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ebenezer. You've dissected a whole lot, and I'm sure the audience are enjoying this section and they're getting a lot from it. So, my name is Comfort Onyaga. I'm a team member. I'm excited to be a member of Policy Shapers, and I'm also excited that we are participating at the 20th anniversary of the Creative Commons. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So, I am an alumna of Founder Institute. Founder Institute is a pre-seed acceleration program for entrepreneurs. Is located at the Silicon Valley, and I'm also a market system development specialist. I am able to provide sustainable solutions through my nonprofit organization, Kleist Foundation. And as a product or as an alumna of the Founder Institute, I went on to found an agri-tech company courtesy of the COVID. So this is one of the benefits of the virtual learning. So I have experienced it firsthand. And I can actually tell you, as one who has had that firsthand experience, that some data that were available on the virtual learning platform, like the Founder Institute, Yotiba, and Tekedia, because I'm an alumni of this institute, actually helped to inform my decision on when and how to, which programs, to get enrolled in, because at some point, I'll tell you the truth, I was almost confused on the way forward, given the new world order that the COVID-19 pandemic ushered us into. Yeah, so next slide, please. So, yeah, I'll be speaking on the impact logic. So basically, this policy memo is not just a memo that we put together. We expect to see changes. We expect that the outcome of this policy proposal, creates impact across different institutions that are available virtually. And I'll take you through the impact logic. So in terms of input or resources, however you want to refer to it. So we are all policy experts. We didn't just wake up one morning and we began to put these policies together. We connected on the internet. I remember Ebenezer Wikina reaching out to us. Through that, we came together. We've been able to undergo some training. Yeah, by the MIT. We've been able to undergo some training that equip us with the skills and capacity to be able to put this policy memo together. So we are experts. We're able to put in our time. This is one of the resources. Time is very valuable. You cannot even quantify the role time play in producing the quality of policy memo we have put together for you all to refer to. And we hope that some of the stakeholders are listening. We also put in financial resources, data, internet data, especially in Africa, Nigeria is not free, it's quite expensive. So these are the resources we put together to come up with activities such as stakeholders mapping, stakeholders analysis, in order to help us, reach out to the people, the stakeholders we're able to interview directly or indirectly, because we had primary and secondary data through Dex review as well. Then in terms of stakeholders engagement, during the Datathon, we're able to engage with some of the stakeholders who are judges of the Datathon, and some of them are also part of the body, that drive that take decision on, data privacy and policy guiding the virtual university learning. So in terms of output, we hope that going forward, and I mean, we've been able to map out the stakeholders according to their relevance to the policy issue, which is how open data can drive transparency and transformation. We hope that that these stakeholders, I mean, they are already aware, right? Because, okay, sorry. The stakeholders were also analyzed based on their interests in terms of the role they play in shaping and transforming data. These virtual universities are also managed by different existing tertiary institutions, but some spring up, and they are just existing virtually. So they are part of the stakeholders, and even the students themselves who are beneficiaries of the virtual university programs are stakeholders. So the students have their interests, the owners of these virtual institutions have their interests, and the regulatory bodies have their interests. And we are sure that at this event, at this summit, we have other stakeholders too, who this activity or this policy proposal would help inform their decision in also, selecting the virtual university. Or, I mean, I'm hopeful that, or I would assume that some virtual university owners are also here listening to us, or would listen to this section, and get to understand in depth how these documents affect them, the policy memo. So yeah, I mean, through this section as well, there's going to be awareness. So the outcome we hope to see is that virtual university across the globe, actively get involved in the policy issues that don't just undermine the policy recommendations that Eben just spoke to. And the impact we hope to see, from this is that virtual university adopt open data policy as a pathway to transparency and transformation across all the global universities and virtual universities in the world. Next slide, please. And this next slide will be speaking to the University of the People. It's actually, it may not be perfect. We hope to see more, but they've actually gone a long way to, I mean, we like their template. That's why we're making reference to them, and we're using them as a case study. So they've been able to outline or present this data. I mean, Ebenezer spoke to data visualization. So they were able to visualize this data, and we like the template. So from what we see here, you can see the number of online students, accreditation, so many information there. And just not to take so much of your time, I would still refer you to the document. It's available on our website, www.policyshapers.com. Thank you very much.
Okay. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are.
All right, great. So my name is Otehiri Akironta, and I'm a member of the Policy Shapers. For the sake of time, I'll just run quickly to why virtual universities need to act now. When we look at the scheme of things, it's like this is an opportunity. This is a moment in time that they need to leverage. Before COVID, many people were skeptical about virtual universities. People had all sorts of, pros and cons, and most people would have preferred to attend universities in person. But of course, with COVID, the choices became a bit limited. And one of the key reasons why they should take advantage of this moment in time is that by sharing the data, of things like enrollment, graduation, success rate of the students, demography of students who are attend their universities or participate in the courses. They kind of also help to create increase in knowledge of what is available in the virtual universities. They also provide the data for comparison of between traditional universities and virtual universities. So you look at success rate in a particular course in a physical university, and then you look at success rate in a virtual university. That also helps to give policymakers the kinds of data that they need to make informed policies. It also sort of brings about the issue of credibility. One of the big questions is, why should I attend this virtual university? What is in it for me? What's the network? Who am I going to meet when I get there? Who am I going to meet? Who are the members of the alumnus? I mean, we cannot undermine the role of alumnus in universities. Most people vie to go into Ivy League universities because of the caliber of people they will meet there. So it's important for virtual universities also to begin to become more transparent, about the kinds of data that they share, about the kinds of information that they actually hold. They also need to begin to publish open data, like employment rate, for example. They need to also take it more seriously and begin to track those kinds of data as well and make them more readily available. So Harvard alumnus, most people want to be there because of the high employment rate. If you look online, why people go to Ivy League universities, because they get better jobs and better pay. So virtual universities also need to begin to track those kinds of things so that they can make those information available. And then the other thing that will do is they will influence increased acceptance as well for virtual learning, because it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Whether COVID or not, virtual learning has come to stay with us. It's a very quick opportunity for skill acquisition as well. So they need to begin to track those kinds of things to help policymakers articulate the kinds of policy that will ensure governance of of virtual universities. So when we say that now is the moment they are actually leading, even traditional universities are also having sort of like dual tracks. Sometimes you see virtual learning maybe for one semester, and then on-campus learning for the other semester. So it means that automatically the governance structure is changing as well. It gives visibility gives credibility, and then most of these virtual universities, some of them are pretty expensive, because people don't really know what's going on there. But if they make their data more transparent, they could get funding. They could get the kinds of funding support that most of these other universities have, and have influx of students from all over the world, and that will also help to enhance their curriculum, enhance their structures as well, expand their scope as well. I feel like it's a very important policy point that we're pushing here, and we hope, and we strongly believe that this will be taken into cognizance, and that more virtual universities will open up their data, make it more available. People want value for money. People want good networks. And people really want to connect. That's what it's about. So I think I'll just stop here for time, and pass it over to my colleague here to help round up. Thank you for your time.
I am Osenio Luwatobi. I'm a Chief Scholar here at the University of Sussex. I'm studying an MA International Education and Development. I would just be rounding up what my colleagues have said. So COVID really expanded the inequality gap across the world, and there's a need for open education to learn from a lot of what has happened and to see how we can adopt this data. My colleague Kendi did a very good introduction, and he then gave us 3 key recommendations, which are really key to addressing the inequalities and also to ensure that open education has more impact. Comfort also gave us the impact logic, which especially is important because we need to see how the impact can affect delivery of education and also help learners' outputs. So I would be taking questions if anyone has any question. You just so I'm going to stop sharing the slides so that I can take questions. Any question, please? Okay, so the slide is available. Eben sent a link to the slide. We look forward to further engagement. This was a fantastic 36 minutes with you. You see, what we do at Policy Shapers is to see how we can add a youth-led voice to policy shaping and policy advocacy across the world, and which is really key right now because we're not just pushing for inclusion, we're also trying to reduce inequality. And so we always, from time to time, participate in hackathons and ideathons, and also publish materials of our own on our website, policyshapers.org. And also, we, if you want to reach out to us, you can send an email to policyshapers@gmail.com. And follow us on Twitter, Policy Shapers, on LinkedIn, Policy Shapers, on Facebook, Policy Shapers. And we look forward to more engagement with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone, and thanks to the amazing panelists. You guys are rock stars. Thanks.
All
We
right.
wish to connect
Thank
more with
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
everybody.
All right.
Bye.